Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GabNet, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Let's capture, who are all these people who are watching these cooking shows? They're stoners, right? So I'm wondering, is this a program that Netflix has absorbed? I don't know, what is the purpose of Netflix making a 14-minute show? Now, aside from those 2 interesting facts about this show, the show is fucking terrible. Do not watch this show. It fucking sucks.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern, join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
Say goodbye to the unions.
Renee, what was the decision? And then we'll go to Patrick.
It doesn't matter. Just say goodbye to the unions.
No. But I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you what was in the decision yesterday.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay, let him look it up.
Yeah, he'll go look it up at glennbeck.com.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
Most high school boys, what have we got on our mind? Sex and girls and girls and sex and sex and sex.
And booze and drugs.
Yeah, the Asian guys I knew in high school, I'm sure they thought that way, but perhaps they were more disciplined about it. Although there was this Japanese girl in high school that your old friend, the Black Avenger, had the hots for. Oh, my God. Be still my sake wanting to drink self.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Well, and even if you did that, it doesn't give you the right to grab your Uber driver's private. I mean, and like, what part of that to him sounded like a good idea?
Oh, she played a special song.
Finally, you can get hot and bothered on Connections at 10 p.m. Eastern Monday, and by delay Tuesday through Friday at 1 a.m. Eastern.
Now, of course, you got your Bundy barbecue. We did that here. It's gonna be cool. So we have a few of them out of the state of Florida, right? We got Danny Rawlings.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so we can look at that. That'll be fun. So, okay, I don't want to shoot the whole lot right there. No.
I'm sure Dahmer will come up somewhere.
Dahmer! Oh, yeah. He was fun. A looker, too.
Catch up on all the shows with our Weekend Flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GabNet. It's new. It's daring. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Reasons why you tune into GabNet. Here's reason number 9. Great celebrity guests.
So how many years is this now with Teller?
43, and that's 43 continuous. You can try to say Keith Richards and Mick Jagger go longer, but they take 3, 4, 5 years off. Even when they're together, they take the time off. Continuous, no more than 2 weeks working apart, I think.
Wow.
Like being waterboarded for 43 years.
GabNet. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GabNet. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. It's a Wednesday here on the Ramble. I'm Alex Bennett, your obedient host, and I will be here until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. And a little bit later, we'll be checking in with our citizens panel. But right now, we're checking in with an old wife, or a former one. You'll see what I mean. Wait a minute. What do we have here? What is that? What are you going to a British wedding? What is this?
No, I'm only going to lunch.
You're going to lunch and you wear that to lunch?
After you and I are done, I'm going to lunch. But there's a reason I'm wearing a hat that I normally wouldn't. I think you knew, or we'd mentioned, that for the past month and a half or so, I've been going once a week to have liquid iron infusions for my anemia.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the last one last week, and I mentioned to the nurse while I was there, I said, I haven't had chemo since January, but I have a sense I'm losing more hair, which I had lost. I have very thin hair, but it wasn't like going bald, but I was losing hair. And it seemed to have been coming out the last couple of weeks. And she said, of course, that happens with iron infusions. Well, nobody told me.
You thought it was the chemo.
Well, it couldn't be because it stopped in January, so I wondered why my hair was falling out. And apparently it's not only chemo that does this to you. And so one of the things you learn from pancreatic cancer is that things like going bald are not very important in life, and you don't really care if you've got bald spots. And I was toying with the idea, if it got worse, that I would become one of the first women to say it's okay to be partially bald and walk around that way. But when you get better and you're not so sick anymore, you get over that, and you would like to have some hair.
By the way, I have not mentioned, this is my, for lack of a better way of describing her, my ex-wife, Ronnie Bennett.
Yes.
It is not just a curiosity that the two of us use the same last name, but hers is legal, mine isn't.
Well, by now everybody knows that you're both of those things, Bennett and Schwartzman.
Well, you know something? You did something. People always said to me, well, how do your wives refer to you? Well, to begin with, my current wife knows me as Alex Bennett, and that's basically it. She stayed with her name because she didn't want that last name, Schwarzman. Okay.
I understand. Do you know how many times in my life I had to say Schwartzman, no T and two N's? And nobody gets it when you say that.
But what was I going to say? I was going in a direction here.
How do we have the name Bennett?
Oh well, no, we know how that happened. That was part of the divorce settlement, that you could use the name Bennett. And then you legally adopted it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
do you want to know why?
Why?
Because when we broke up, I kind of lost my job. I couldn't very well show up for work the next day producing your show. So I had to go look for work. And everybody in the radio business and TV business in New York City knew me as Ronnie Bennett, so that if I called up and said, hey, this is Ronnie Schwartzman, they wouldn't know who I was. Right. So I had to use it that way to call and start looking for work.
Right.
And then, how was that? What do I go back to my maiden name? What do I do? So I kept Bennett.
Yeah. And that it has been ever since.
Yes.
But no, there's some direction I was going, and I can't remember what it is now.
There's something about your wives and your last names.
My wives and my last names. Oh, yeah. She didn't want to take Schwarzman. Okay, so she kept her name, and my problem was there was something that had to do with Schwarzman. It had to do with my real name, and I can't remember it now.
Ben. And Alex.
Yes. Okay. Now I remember. See, I went to a doctor. As I mentioned this to Will Durst yesterday, that I went to a doctor yesterday for the numbness in my feet, and so he asked me some questions to see how lucid I was, and he asked me my name, where I lived, how old am I, blah blah blah, all of that, and then he says, "Who's the governor of New York?" And I froze. I couldn't remember the name of the governor of New York. And then he said, well, I'll make it easier. Who's the mayor of New York City? And I couldn't remember. And it bothered me all day. And then I suddenly realized I don't give a shit about local politics, so I never watch any of that stuff. So I don't hear Cuomo constantly in my ear or de Blasio constantly in my ear. But not being able to remember that is kind of the same as not being able to remember other things. So when you asked that question, when we started going into this, now I can't remember where I went. See?
See? Yeah, that's what happens to us old folks. But I can remember about the hat because I no longer want to show off my bald spot. I have a large collection of hats.
Okay, but wait a minute. I'm still trying to go with that Schwarzman thing.
Oh, well, I'm going with the hat thing.
And then she didn't want the name. It was too long a name. I can't remember where I was going with that. So that's what happens when you have numb feet.
somewhere along the line, I switched from calling you Ben to calling you.
Oh, that's it. That was it. We're back to where it was. Now, don't
confuse you.
These are two old people having an addlepated moment.
I know what I'm saying.
I always pointed out to you that what you would do is in company, you would refer to me as Bennett. So
I did?
Yes. You came up with the idea because when you said Bennett, most people thought you were affectionately calling me by my last name, but for those in the room who know me by my first name, they would think you were calling me by my first name.
I did that? I thought that up?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember it. I always tell that story, except now when I couldn't remember it.
Well, that's how it goes. So anyway, I'm hiding my bald spot again because, I'm feeling better, a lot better. I feel really good. And I wish I had more hair, and I don't want to show off my bald spot. I wish I didn't care about my bald spot, which when I was still really sick, I didn't care.
Since we have video here, would you like to show it to us?
Show what?
The bald spot.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. No. You're the one who goes, get older, get used to it, embrace it,
I didn't say I am without
and I'm the first one to say embrace your baldness.
Well, I do have my contradictions. I wish it were different.
Yeah.
But I do have them.
Well, my wife's hair is thinning out a bit, and she's not taking iron.
I seem to know a lot of women friends that have a lot of hair. Really irritates me.
Well, I mean, she has a lot of hair, but it is thinning, and your hair does get thin.
The individual hairs get thinner too. Yeah. And and my hair had been thinning without chemo and without iron, so yeah. But I got to read you something very funny.
Yeah.
I wrote about, I wrote about the iron on my blog, the iron infusions, and I have the most wonderful readers who leave comments. Yeah. One of them, whose name I can't remember, I got to read this to you, left a comment about the iron infusions. She said, on the plus side of your week-long iron infusions, you can now take all your refrigerator magnets and stick them on yourself, thereby freeing up the fridge for that ever-present and so important to-do list. So I could put them all over me.
Oh, boy.
Pretty funny. There's some good news.
What's the good news?
Did I tell you about this lump I have over here?
Oh, yeah, you told me about that lump, and I read on your blog about it, but go ahead and tell them.
Yes, and so, it's been there for more than a decade, just sitting there doing nothing, and then suddenly it gets bigger at the end of the day now. So a week ago, I had a biopsy. They stick needles in there and take out cells, and I had to wait until Friday, and it came back benign. So, great relief.
Yeah.
There's even a name for it, and we'll figure out what we're going to do.
It's called lump on the side of the neck.
Yes, but the thing is, once you've had cancer, everything that goes wrong in your life you think is cancer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let me just turn your mic down for a second because we get what we call slapback. Now it's okay. Okay, fine. Anyway, I keep, as I said this to Will yesterday as well, that I keep waiting for the thing where I go in and I say, I've got this little, my toe is twitching, and they go, oh, that's very bad, and it's cancer, and it's going to kill you. Right? I'm waiting for that doctor, right?
Yeah.
So every time I have a new doctor to go to, like I went to this neurologist, I'm figuring, now the numb feet, it means I've got some kind of a heart problem, whatever. No, he says it's a kind of a spinal stenosis and you need to have physical therapy.
That's good.
That's good, yeah. Go get a massage once every week or something. But you know what happened with me? Now tell me this, because you would remember. Did I have hair on my legs?
I don't remember. I have no idea.
Well, I don't have hair on my legs anymore.
Well, I'll tell you
that... And under my armpits, I hardly have any hair left.
Yes, that's happened to me, too. You don't have any hair on your head either. What did you expect the rest of your body?
Well, this is different than this and the armpits.
How?
Well, to begin with, I was counting on surgically taking the hair from my armpits and putting it on my head.
But, you thought that was going to work. Yeah, well.
But no, what I understood was you bald, well, you gray from the bottom up, is it? I think your beard. If you have a beard, you'll go gray first in your beard before your hair goes gray. That
most guys, when they still have regular, brown or black or whatever they have, when they still have that on their head, if they have chin whiskers, they go gray first. You've seen that.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't have hair on my body anymore. I mean, I have some on a little bit on my chest, little bit, but they're flimsy.
Yeah, well, it's one more thing they don't tell you about growing old.
You lose everything.
Yes, I have less hair on my legs too. I don't have to shave them as frequently.
Yeah. I think my wife said she's having the same problem. God, getting old sucks. I don't care what you write in your blog. It sucks.
Yeah, well, if you can't change it, are you going to sit around and lament?
No, absolutely not. But I should go out and kick my heels up, only I don't have the strength. So...
Isn't it a wonderful, given everything that's wrong in the world, isn't the story of the soccer team all being rescued wonderful?
Yes, except for the fact that I tried to get news on it today, and when we're recording this is the day...
Oh, and you've got Trump instead.
You got Trump with his fucking, Supreme Court justice, and I don't give a shit about that, Yeah. I really don't.
But, well, I mean, it looked so impossible from the drawings of the mountain that they're stuck in and the river in there, and they don't know how to swim, and I mean they're young, they're little kids.
Yeah.
And they did it. They did it. There was one Thai Navy SEAL who died.
Yeah.
Which is really terrible, but the kids and the coach all got out. It's just in the world we live in, that is such great news.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely wonderful. That they managed to get them out, and I wanted to see that story. And all I'm getting are stories about this fucking Supreme Court nominee with the bad skin.
Oh God! Did you have to go that far?
I mean, Durst wanted to keep joking about the fact that his name is Brett. Imagine.
Hey! What? My surgeon, who is the whole reason I'm still alive, his name is Brett.
Well, then I won't diss the name Brett then. Just Durst and I in private moments will do it, not in front of you. But anyway, you look healthy as hell. I mean, except for that schmata you're wearing on your head.
Oh, it's a beautiful hat. What's wrong with it?
Why did you wear a babushka? I think that would go good on you.
A what?
A babushka. The handkerchief around the head.
I do that when I'm cleaning house. I'll wear it next time.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, how big is the bald spot? I mean, is it?
Well, it's not completely bald. It's just so thin you can see my scalp through it. There's no way to not see my scalp.
I see.
And it's back here in the back, and it's getting much thinner in the front now, too.
Now, how long do they keep doing these iron infusions?
Oh, I'm done. I had 6. I'm done.
Okay, so will the hair grow back now?
Questionable. Nobody... I think the answer is no, and they didn't want to tell me.
Well, it's funny. You want a little better answer than that. Here's the point I'm making. Well, like yesterday when I went to this doctor for what we thought was neuropathy, but he has said it's not neuropathy, okay? The numbness in the feet. And he says it happens when you lie down because you're hitting a nerve and the nerve is causing it to exacerbate and whatever. He said, I don't know, but I've heard some people say that putting a pillow between your legs will help. Well, it doesn't help me. But the fact was that he said to me, some people have told me that putting a pillow between your legs. You're a neurologist, for crying out loud. You'd have a little better scientific description of this thing than some friends told me, put a pillow between your legs.
There's a whole lot medical people don't know. They do the best they can. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, maybe your hair will grow back. Maybe a pillow will work.
Yeah. That's the sum total of medicine these days.
I don't think so. I think what I've gone through is pretty much a miracle.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And the interventional radiology, when they went in through the side of me to fix something in here and in a hole no bigger than a pencil eraser, I think that's a modern miracle. You know, and that it works.
Yeah. Are you used to operations now?
Oh God, yes. I know my way around that hospital so well.
I mean, to go, okay, just to put the juice in me, let's get this thing over with.
Exactly. It's just, I've kind of made a study when I've been lucid in the hospital. You know, over the past year, it adds up to almost a month over the several visits in the hospital. And I know way more than I ever wanted to know about the medical community.
Well, you know what I found? That it was a big deal with me when I was in the hospital with the kidney stone. Is, you know, they had to put a lot of draw blood on me and do stuff like that a lot. And after about I always used to, blood draw always bothered me. You know, it was always, oh, you're going to put the needle in the arm. By the time I was through that hospital stay, they stick needles in my arm and I just go ahead. Hey, take it.
Me too. I just lay out my arm.
By the way, I say take it out of my hand because they have a hard time finding a vein in my right where they normally go. So I said, just take it out of my hand here because you can see the veins there. And they go, really? You don't mind it? I said, I mind it there more than you stabbing me 20 times trying to find a vein. You know.
It's amazing what you can get used to in old age.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm saying is you've kind of probably gotten used to the fact, well, I got to go in for a little operation today, you know.
Yeah, well, that's when I think about this, you know, there may be reasons to remove this lump and maybe there are reasons not to remove it, and we'll figure that out. But I realize that compared to what I went through last year, go ahead.
They should replace your face and body in the operation game, is what they should do. You know the operation game? Did you ever play that as a kid?
No.
Operation, where there's this kind of fat guy and you have to remove his kidney, but it has an electrical probe, so if you touch anything wrong, it buzzes. That's the operation game.
I never heard of it.
Yeah.
I mean, is it something that comes in a box? Like Monopoly?
That's obviously where my neurologist got his medical education.
Oh, come on now. Come on. That's not nice.
Put the pillows between the legs.
That's not nice.
No, he's a nice guy. I have a lot of doctors who are nice guys. I just wonder if they're accurate. That's all. You know.
I found out, having nothing to do with our organ recital here.
Yeah.
I found out two really interesting small things this week.
Really?
One of them is that since 2004, there has been a restaurant called Rick's Cafe in Casablanca, Morocco.
Since when?
Since 2004.
Really?
And it looks, and you can go online and look at some videos and stuff. They're not very good videos. They're mostly amateur videos, so they're not really very good. But it makes you feel like you're in Rick's Cafe, just like the movie. It looks just like it. And it's owned by an American woman who used to be a diplomat. And the other interesting thing I just found out this morning is that in December...
you know what I find interesting about that fact? That it took that long for somebody to put a Rick's Cafe in Casablanca.
You know, I don't know what the political climate was right after World War II. It might not have been something you could do then,
right.
You know, and maybe it took a while. But you're right, that I was kind of surprised about that, too.
And when you go there and sit there having coffee or a drink or whatever, and the piano player is obviously playing as time goes by...
of course.
Do cops come in and round up the usual suspects?
What a good idea.
Yeah.
We should write her a note. They should set that up.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing from this morning, just before we called, is that Israel is sending up a spaceship in December that will land on the moon next year.
Really?
That's what, at least that's what the Jerusalem Post says this morning.
And and Elon Musk will be there to greet him.
Yes, exactly.
Jews in space. That's a weird concept and the fodder for great many jokes. You know.
Well, start working.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of room for them.
How far away is the moon? 239,000 miles, but for you, 238.
Oh, you're going to get in such trouble when you post this. You are going to get in so much trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, it got to be Jews and space jokes. I can't believe that they think they're really going to land They're going to land a man on the moon, or they're just going to land a rocket on the moon.
Enough not a moon. I think just a probe.
Well, that's.
Oh, that doesn't interest you?
Elon Musk could do that on a Sunday.
Well, he hasn't yet.
Nobody could.
You think so?
Listen,
wouldn't he have if he could?
Have you seen what this guy can do? He solved the whole problem of reusable rockets by having them simply come back and land on the pad. Come on. For years, we've been dishing them out of the ocean. He sends the thing up, does whatever does it, comes back down, and goes right back to the launch pad where they fill her up again with some more fuel and do it again. Now, tell me he can't go to the moon if he wanted to.
Well, why would he resist a man like him?
Well, there was a lot of questions.
If it were possible, there's no reason for him to resist.
Well, in the reason we went to the moon, was that because it was there. Right. Once we got there, we went, what the fuck are we going to do with this place? And so we never went back.
Maybe this new one will pick up all the junk we left behind.
That just a cleanup job.
Yeah.
A little vacuum on it. The thing is that everybody was saying, well, what do we do now that we're there? Because the moon isn't much, but it is, I think, is a good place to launch other rockets out into space. You could do it a lot easier and so on. But we never went back. I wrote a little story once about something like that, about them first men on the moon, and they land and they find some stuff, and it turns out really they weren't the first, that we had been there before, but why didn't we ever go back? And the fact is, we never went back. We did all that work, and we never went back.
Do you sound so cynical, but do you remember we watched the moon landing? We were married at the time, and we lived in Riverdale, and we watched it on television together, and it was thrilling.
Oh, yeah.
It was thrilling.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what it was that bothered me about it? I didn't feel that people in general realized the significance of what had just happened. That for the first time in the history of mankind, we had left the cradle.
Well, as far as we know.
Well, we had left the cradle of our existence. And I don't think it was lost on people. They were all going, why are we spending money to do that?
I don't think there were lots of people saying that. I think it was thrilling, and I think most people saw it that way.
No, we had a American thing, USA, we're there first, that kind of thing.
Before we sent people to the moon, we sent probes to the moon. And they sent pictures back. And I remember before the person landing on the moon, there was a big deal that in a previous probe that it would go behind the moon, and for the first time we would see the opposite side of the moon, because it always has only one face
dark side of the moon.
Toward us.
Right.
And there was a New Yorker cartoon that I saved for years and years leading up to that it showed the spaceship coming toward the moon, the backside of the moon, and it was carved out, so concave, like a theater set, and it said Act 2, Scene 1. I saved that for years and years and years.
Yeah, but I just wish we had. I guess if I have any regrets in my life, it's that we didn't.
You didn't go to the moon? They didn't select you?
No, we didn't go. We didn't go further. The fact is, if we stopped the space program then, and the only space program we had was what I called NASA hauling. It was just NASA was hauling stuff up.
We went to Mars.
Yeah, but we sent probes. I mean, sending people.
But they were great photographs, and they got a lot of good science stuff.
If they had continued on the path that they were going, and not stopped that space program, the exploration part of the space program, we could have been to Mars in my lifetime. But we're not.
I'm not smart enough to know what the problems are.
Yeah, well,
it can't be.
That was my bailiwick, because when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, and there was no such thing as an astronaut when I wanted to be one.
So how did you know?
Well, because I knew I wanted to go to the moon, and so all my friends used to mock me as Moon Rocks Bennett, or Schwarzman, but I always wanted to be an astronaut, You know, I always wanted to go to space, and I never was able to. I mean, it's just that I would have thought that by now we'd have landed somebody on Mars, and we could have by now if we hadn't stopped.
And you know, I thought by now we would have cured cancer. I mean, it's harder than us laymen think. I didn't.
In your case, they came close. You know.
Well, I mean, but in general, it should be like the common cold. I thought by the time I was this old, we could treat it the same way as the common cold or the flu or something.
Well,
so,
I don't know that, believe it or not, I don't know that we've ever put the effort behind it like we should.
But cancer or space travel?
Cancer. That if we had a concerted effort and said we're going to spend a large amount of money and we're going to do it like we did with space, okay, I think we could have solved it. But I don't think we've had that kind of priority, believe it or not. Plus, what do you do with all the lack of parking spaces if more people are still alive?
Well, are you referring to space travel or cancer?
I'm referring to cancer. Isn't cancer a process of elimination?
I don't think so. I don't think they're enough.
You know, but I mean, if you could cure cancer, all right, how many more people would be alive? And how many more parking spaces would that take up?
You don't need parking spaces. You don't have a car.
I have always thought in terms of parking spaces. I'm from California. And I hear there are not enough parking spaces in San Francisco anymore. So that's because we've cured a lot of these diseases. Look, I figure at 78, going on 79, I'm taking up too much room myself. You know, I sometimes feel guilty about that. Sunday, I went to a birthday party for my friend Jack Garfine, who turned 88.
Ah!
Boy, is that old.
My friend Millie is in the hospital this week. She's going to be 93 pretty soon.
Here's the best part. He was there, and if people go on my Facebook page, I posted the speech he gave, which is about 13 minutes. And you can see in the same shot another guy. And that's one of his friends who was also in the concentration camps. They didn't know each other from the concentration camps. They met each other afterwards. But this other guy, I have never seen, he's got to be maybe in his 80s. I've never seen a more healthy-looking guy in my life. I mean...
That's one of the things I always talk about, is that we age at dramatically different rates. Some people at 50 have had enough things go wrong or whatever, and they look really old. Other people at 90 have had terrific lives or recovered from whatever happened to them well, and they look and operate terrifically. And you can't go by age on how we get old. It's different for every person.
I'll tell you something, and then I guess we got to go. But I remember you asked me to go with you to your high school reunion.
Yes.
And so I'd never been in a room with a group of people who within a year age range, okay, were all basically the same age.
Right, yeah.
And it was amazing how some looked, you couldn't tell that this was a group of people all of approximately the same age, because some looked really young and some looked really old.
That's that would be a great photograph to have to make my point.
Yeah.
That you can't judge what people are going to be like physically by their actual age. Right. It's very different. Once you get old, younger you usually can if you discount big deal terrible diseases. But the range, I mean, it always surprises me when I see photographs of someone. If you ask me, I would say, oh, she's probably 55 or 60, and they tell me she's 82.
Do you get invited to your high school reunion still?
No, I think they must have stopped having them.
I think I got one, believe it or not.
Recently?
A while back, got something where they were going to hold one. And I'm just thinking, how many people are going to show up? I mean, it's just basically you're going to go there and who's dead? You know?
Yeah, that's true. When you graduated in 57 from high school?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 58. 68, 78, 88, 98, 08. That's 60 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, that's 61 for me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 61 years. Hey, listen. You know, I never thought I would ever say this, but it's great talking to an ex-wife. You know, I always look forward to this. You know, it's special. Okay.
Yes, it is.
And
yes,
let's do it again in 2 weeks. Okay.
Okay, you got it.
Or any other time you want to do it. You know, this is great.
You know.
Hope everybody enjoyed it, and that's my exer there. She's Ronnie Bennett, and you can find her at ronniebennett.net, right?
No.
Oh, timegoesby.net. I kept thinking of your email address. Timegoesby.net, and she writes some. She's a great writer, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Ronnie. Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
And that's my ex-wife. I'm pretty lucky that in my later life we have managed to have a friendly relationship. Not that it wasn't a great marriage. It really was I'm an asshole when it comes to being married to me. I just ask a girlfriend. She's lucky, though. I'm not the asshole I used to be. Let me explain something to you. This is the second night in a row I've worn the same outfit. Here's the reason why, okay? We just did that interview with my wife, my ex-wife, Ronnie. And I did it yesterday, okay? And so I was wearing this when I did the interview with Durst, and then I did the interview with her after it. And then I thought, well, today, if I wear a different outfit and then we go to the tape, it's not going to match that well. So look, wait a minute, I'll show you the beginning of the interview. So if you look, I'm wearing exactly what I'm wearing right now. See? Look at that. Wait a minute, what do we have here? What is that? What are you going to a British wedding? What is? See? So I've had to wear this shirt 2 days in a row. Okay, just to so I match with the picture. Boy, what I do for this show. Well, let's see here. I think it's about time that we open up the Skype lines to see if anybody wants to call. Okay. All right. My eye's itching tonight. They haven't been as bad today, though. The allergies haven't been as bad today. God, today was brutally hot again. They're not as brutally hot as yesterday. It seems as though we're just not having any cool weather. You know, those days where you go, oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful day. Isn't it a love? No, you go out there and you go, it's hot. Now, yesterday it was like 90 degrees, but there wasn't any humidity. So it was that dry heat, and that's, that's okay. That I can live with. But anyway, if you want to get a hold of us on this program, we have a thing called the Citizen Panel, and somebody will call in a moment, and then we'll be able to show you how it works. They use a thing called Skype, and if you want to find out how to call this program, just go to gabnet.net, GABNET.net, and over there you will be able to see how to do it. On the right-hand side of the page tells you all about where to get Skype and how it works and an easy way to dial it. And just go over there. And you won't miss the show either because it's playing over there. The video is playing over there, so you might just want to hop over there. Let me thank China, I guess that's how it's pronounced, Ruoho. She just subscribed to my YouTube channel. You know, we have a handful. I have 600. I had 650. She, I guess it's a she, becomes number 651. I would really like you to tell all your friends just to go over there and subscribe to this channel because that would be really nice if you did that. Okay. So, anyway. What? Nobody's going to call now? I'm just going to sit here with my finger up my ass? Son of a bitch. I've got to... you know what I did today? I was bad. You know, I stick on this diet constantly. And I find lately that I'm not losing weight. But I'm not gaining it either. I just fluctuate back and forth between about a 3-pound area. So today I said, fuck it. If I'm not going to gain weight... or lose weight, then I'll have something I want. And I got on the subway, and I went all the way down to 23rd Street, where there's this place called Italy. And Italy is this supermarket of decadence, of Italian food, and they have great ravioli. And so the kind I used to have when I was a kid, my mother would make it. You know, it's not cooked; they have to boil it. And I went down there and I picked up the small raviolis, 3/4 pound of that, 3/4 pound of the prosciutto ravioli, and brought it back with a jar of sauce from Lydia Bastianich. You know, Lydia's Kitchen. She has actually these sauces used to be. What's his name? The other guy who got caught with his hand up somebody's pants or something. Oh God, now I can't remember it. I was talking about him today. Anyway, he's one of the owners of Italy, but I guess they decided we better not have any of his products on the shelves. So it's like he never existed. Okay, we used to get his sauce, and now the sauce that he had we get in her flavor, and Lydia is one of the other owners of Italy, nobody's calling me. Jeez Almighty, what's with you folks? Am I on? Yes, I'm on, but nobody else is. I don't notice anybody is on. Am I on? Yes, it looks like I'm on. Yeah. Hello, Chena Ruho. I don't know how to pronounce it. How do you pronounce Ruoho? Ruho. And I'm sorry if I'm mangling your name. Okay, I didn't want to mangle it. Anyway, I see Tom Yamaguchi is online, so he's going to call. Geez, where is everybody tonight? Phil didn't say that tonight was a Phil-free night, so I figured Phil would call. Yeah, well, anyway. What's that guy's name? Where's the Croc shoes? And he's not exactly the kind of guy you'd like to have lying on top of you. I think that's one of the... you never hear about... if George Clooney came on to a woman, I don't think she'd argue about that. Or Brad Pitt. But if you're really ugly like these guys, I mean, Harvey Weinstein, what an oaf. I mean, just a complete oaf. And an ogre. But if he looked like Brad Pitt, it might be... different story. But then again, if he looked like Brad Pitt, he wouldn't have to try so sleazily. Okay? Anyway, where there is nobody tonight. This is just, well, here we go. Always to the rescue, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Yamaguchi. I don't know, where is nobody's calling tonight.
This is amazing.
Yeah,
this is amazing. I mean, you've been getting a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so I have no idea. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see the T-shirt. I know that T-shirt.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Yes. You gave me this T-shirt.
General Magic was a company that started up doing some very interesting doodads,
Yes.
And
I forgot that. When I called you, I forgot I was wearing this T-shirt today.
Yeah.
This is actually from your demo at Whole Earth Access store here in West Berkeley.
Whole Earth Access. And I was giving those away at Whole Earth Access?
So you were doing a demo of this handheld computer I'm trying to remember,
yes.
but General Magic did the software. It was a GUI interface.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. Was it
also hooked up to the internet?
Was it Sony? that had it? Was it a Sony?
I don't remember.
It was something Magic. Oh God.
The Magic Cap software was the stuff that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the name of the Magic Link.
But I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Magic Link.
Magic Link, but I'm trying. Oh, was it called Magic Link?
It was called Magic Link.
Yes, and I remember I had one, and it wasn't bad, for its time.
I came you, as I said, you did a great demo of it.
Yeah, I was.
I already had a handheld computer. I used to have a Scion.
Boy, I can't even remember what it did exactly, but I remember it had a small screen, and it used a pen, didn't it?
I believe it did.
Yeah. And these guys were friends of mine, and I think that's why I did the demo, was as a friendly gesture to them. Here we go. Let me see. Oh, there's Phil.
Hey.
Yeah, Phil. Where have you been? I mean, God, nobody was calling tonight. I have Tom, he always comes to the rescue when I need him.
You just said you were opening the Skype lines 15 seconds ago.
No, I didn't.
No.
No? That's what I heard.
Well, maybe. Why don't you refresh your browser?
Well, I rebooted last night. I was listening to you talk about your shirt and how you had to change it, not change it because of the recordings, and then within maybe 10 seconds of that, you said, I'm going to the Skype lines, and that's when I turned off the browser.
That was about 8 minutes ago.
Wow.
Something you really have a slow internet connection.
No, I thought you were going long. That's
no. What happens sometimes. I don't know what it is. I know that like with when I click on my little thing here on the Gabnet site to hear the audio.
Yeah.
And maybe I put it on pause, and then later on I go back to listen to it. It picks up where it left off like 3 hours earlier.
Maybe that's what happened to me. I was just sitting here dumb and happy listening to your conversation, and I said, "Oh, he's going long." Okay.
People may not know this, and I saw this listed. Hold on a second, and I got to go find it. But if you go to the, what happened to? There it is. There it is. There's a YouTube. Supposedly, there's some way you can actually go backward on the live show.
Really?
Just, I guess you can. It has about a 4-hour window that you can go back through. Although we only have a 2-hour show, but if you come to our show at say 11:30 and you love this show so much you want to see it from the very beginning, you just zip it back and watch it. It has a DVR function. I didn't realize that till just the other day.
I actually, I was just
that could have been what happened.
Well, I'm not watching it on a recording. I was watching it on the Gabnet site.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Who knows? I don't know, and I can't. The mystery is why nobody's calling. Maybe they're all 20 minutes behind. I have no idea.
I don't either. That's the first time that's happened. But I'm glad Tom showed up.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, doesn't he look healthier lately since he had the stent put in?
Better, yeah.
Yeah.
More of the face.
And I bet he'll.
I'm not getting a picture now.
No.
No, I'm not getting a picture. I see a still.
Really? Oh, you see, but I see him fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the other great mystery we can't ever solve. We don't understand.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. But
so what you guys got going today?
What do we got going today? Nothing. I went and I looked at Mount Sinai. They have this thing called My Chart, and you can go to it, and it's everything about your stuff, right?
Yeah.
I can go back and look. I looked at some of the stuff from my kidney problems, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I go there and I click on the visit yesterday with my doctor, And what the doctor has there is his notes that he took.
Mm-hmm.
It is now on the permanent record. Hello, Bree. How are you?
Hey.
It's on my permanent record yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I've got to turn off your broadcast. I have the app on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Anyway, I was going to say is it is
Great.
Now in print.
I'm in Manila, Philippines.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. For anyone who I want to show it to, that I couldn't remember who the governor of New York was or the mayor of New York City.
He put that down?
Yeah, it's in the notes.
What was his reason for doing that?
He asked me, so he said he couldn't. He knew who the president was, but he didn't know who the mayor and the governor were of New York. You know, so it was very embarrassing. It was very embarrassing, and right after I told him I was a talk show host, you know, Then I started to think about it, and I went, well, how often have we talked about de Blasio or Cuomo on this show?
Oh, Cuomo, not so much. De Blasio, I've always hated his guts.
Well, you keep bringing him up every now and then, but basically we talk about national stuff because this is a national show. It's an international show, actually, to be honest with you, you know. So, hi, Bree. How you doing?
Hi, Alex. Yeah, it's been a while, huh?
Yeah. Are you still in Dubai at this moment, or are you somewhere else?
No, I'm in the Philippines right now.
What are you doing in the Philippines?
You know, having a vacation.
Oh, having a vacation. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But you're still living in Dubai.
Yeah, for the time being.
Yeah.
Bree, is this the rainy season in the Philippines?
We're getting some. Some.
Yeah, but I don't think you'd be you went there for a vacation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think he'd go somewhere for a vacation where it was the rainy season.
I just thought this time of the year, I could be mistaken because it's on the other side of the international time zone or day zone. You know, I don't know. You know, I know that they have some odd weather there.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to be where...
we are...
What?
Right.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you? Did we lose you, Bree?
He cut out.
I'm here.
Oh, he's
right
there.
now, the rain comes and goes, but the temperature's really nice. It's like 83 degrees today.
Yeah.
With a nice breeze.
Better than here.
Yeah. We have a please, if you have children, have them tune out now. We have a sex show going on in one of the quadrants of our...
it's a man-dog love...
Yeah, this is Man-Dog Love Association. That dog, there's Tom Yamaguchi has a dog with him. Is that your dog, Tom?
Well, it's we're watching the dog. We're dog sitting.
Apparently that dog no, either that dog likes you or thinks you're filthy. One or the other.
Both.
Did you eat something sweet recently?
No.
Does the dog do this a lot?
Oh yes, the dog does this all the time.
You know,
my dog does that too.
I don't mind it I never minded it when a cat did it, but when a dog does it, they have that dog breath. Oh, too much noise. Bree? Oh,
boy. A lot of background noise there,
Bree, a lot of background noise, Bree. Can you hear me, Bree?
Oh. Yeah, sorry about that.
A lot of background noise.
Let me hit the headset off.
Yeah, well, we just lost him. What?
Tom, I do when my dog does that is I put my hand up and I let her lick the hand. You know, so you know I'll let her get one or two on the face, but it's annoying. So and I don't want to push her away, so I just let her lick my hand.
Well, as I say, the worst thing is dog breath. You know.
My dog's breath smells better than mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually,
I'm sure.
Her breath isn't that bad.
It isn't? Oh, okay.
No, it's not that bad.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Good. I read your thing. You sent me a thing, a very funny thing, written by, I'm trying to remember his name now, the great writer out of Miami.
Some guy named Barry?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me find it here. I don't want to read it. It would take too long, but...
yeah, it was pretty funny.
Where's my mail? Here we go. By Dave Barry, who is, I believe he's a writer in Miami. I knew him briefly when I was working in Miami. And it's an article. It's just an article about having a colonoscopy. And he just makes things really fun, you know. He says, you know, by the time you're finished eliminating everything, you're eliminating food you haven't eaten yet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because I had to go pick up my kit today.
Now, here's the thing. For anybody, here we go. Doctor's
there we go.
in.
The waiting room is open.
The waiting room is open. A little
I got to report, too.
A little hint to all the people out there are going to get colonoscopies. Now, what did they tell you for the prep? What did they give you?
Well, I went to pick it up, and they wanted $50 for it, so my wife left it there. And he said, here's a website you can go get a coupon for, and then come back with that. And I went, whoa, I don't know, it was a gallon of this crap. I don't know what it was, so she didn't pick it up.
Well, see, you don't want to do that. There is another way, and it's another thing that I use, and I forget the name of it now, or I'd tell you, but it's a little bottle about yay big.
Yeah.
And you just down it. That's it. And it doesn't taste bad. You know, you can get it in any grocery store, pharmacy rather, and they're like about $3 a piece.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was. She went to pick it up. But
the other way they do it is they have you drink a gallon of this shit, and it's ridiculous because you can
like
do
in that article. Yeah.
Yeah,
because he was talking about what do you say? It was a liter that was like 32 gallons.
Yeah, it's a liter, which is 32 gallons, as he put it. But the thing is that my doctor told me about this stuff. I did it. And then the next time, his office sent me a thing saying, get this stuff and drink a gallon of it and so on. And I called him up and I said, hey, you just had me drink that little stuff, you know. It was in the stores. And he said, oh, okay, that'd be fine. Anything that cleans you out. And so I don't know why they constantly tell people to do this other way of preparation, because it's grueling, it's horrible.
Well, the last time was, 11 years ago?
Yeah.
And they had me standing on my head doing enemas and shit in the bathroom.
What?
I was putting shit up my ass, and I was standing on my head putting these things up my ass, trying to get and then jumping to the toilet and squirting. It was ridiculous.
Are you sure that you were actually having a medical procedure, or was that some kind of whorehouse you went to?
Everybody was laughing.
I'll tell you what, I thought I was going, what the hell is all this crap? And then she said, oh, no, just take this and drink it. And I went, that's it? I said, great. Because the last time, I thought I was going to I don't know what the hell I was doing. I thought I was going to have to go outside and put a garden hose up my ass.
They had a thing that I first used the first time I ever got a colonoscopy, but they stopped giving it to people because they found some people died from it. I don't know how. But it was kind of a seltzer kind of thing. And then I was told this other stuff, and he said, yeah, you just drink that and drink a lot of water, and then just sit around and wait for the explosion to come, you know.
Yeah, the shuttle.
The way he describes it is it's like you're the shuttle.
You're the shuttle.
You know.
You're the rocket.
He had to strap himself into the toilet because to keep him in place. It's a very funny article if anybody can lay their hands on it. I'm sure if you look up Dave Barry colonoscopy online, it'll be there somewhere. Yeah.
Well, I had a CT scan this morning.
Did you really?
Yeah, they had me get there at 5:45 a.m.
Why do you do these things so early?
Because there's not a wait, there's no aggravation, and I can have the rest of my day without. I was at work by 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So and I came home afterwards.
Well, what were they scanning for?
Kidney stone, kidney, bladder. I had some blood in the urine.
Yeah.
And so they just wanted to make sure there wasn't any cancer in my bladder because I have a thickening of the wall.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's
yeah.
Cage.
But you've had a what do you call it? The otheroscopy. Cystoscopy, which goes right into your bladder and looks around to see if there's anything. So if there was something there, you would have seen it. They would have seen it then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they discovered that I had a thickening of the wall of the bladder prior to this.
Yeah.
And so since I had a CT scan a year ago, they wanted to compare and see if there was any differences.
Yeah. And?
No differences.
No differences. So really, what you've gotten? You've gotten on the doctor's hamster wheel now. First it was this. Oh, well, wait a minute. We found something else. It's like going to a real bad repair shop.
Yeah, but I would rather that they err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
And then also they wanted to clear me before they do the next heart procedure. They wanted to make sure that I didn't have something going on that needed to be addressed before they did the next heart. What do you call it? Where they stick the wire in me.
Well, they stick the wire in you. Okay. Well,
light me up.
Speaking of wires, I'm getting a couple put in my back in another month or so.
Jeez, what? Is there anything?
Is that for stimulation or just because you...
You know why I do this show?
No, they're trying to put some... they're going to try and do something about the pain in my legs. They're going to put two probes up the sympathetic nerves in my back. And then they're going to put some remote control thing to interrupt the sympathetic nerve pain in my back to stop the pain. If it works, they're going to put something in my ass.
How is any pain sympathetic?
Wait. Don't let your kids get a hold of that remote control because they'll be sitting there shocking you.
You ain't shit.
Making you do the jumping bean.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Boy. Do you feel a little healthier now, Tom? I mean, you don't have any real problems, right?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the other day I was thinking about it because after I went to the doctor and he said, well, what you've got is you got a compressed nerve, and that's what's causing the numbness in the feet. And some days it's worse than others because maybe you slept wrong last night. So we're going to get yourself some physical therapy and come back and see me in 2 months. And I thought to myself, I thought for sure this was going to be the cancer. Or this was going to be, the thing, right? And then I said to myself, actually, and I'm working out too, so I'm kind of remarkably healthy.
Doing good.
For my age. Because all you guys are falling fucking apart. Except for Tom. Tom's not, you're not falling apart, are you, Tom?
Oh, yeah, hopefully not.
Hey, he's riding bikes.
He's riding bikes. That's good for him.
When I was listening to your monologue with your ex-wife, I get a phone call from my friend. He's 85. He was in Walmart today, and when he was getting off the little scooter that they ride around, he fell and hit his head and hurt his back. 85. You can't win. So, but he was in Walmart.
Oh, really?
Using the scooter, and he's not fat, So I don't know what he was doing on the scooter,
Yeah. Well, I sometimes I'm just thinking just limping in there one day with a cane and getting one of those scooters and just wheeling around there because you get the two things. Number one, it allows you to be really lazy. Okay.
Practice at Costco, though.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me finish. It also gives you the opportunity, as it does many of these people who are riding them, to be really mean assholes.
Yeah.
Because they're always like, I'm in a scooter and I'm fat and I can't walk and I get out of my way.
Yeah.
Hey, you'd be surprised how many people slam the door on you when you're in those things.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't give a shit.
They slam.
Oh, as you're trying to go through a door,
they don't give a shit. They walk right through and bam, the door right on your foot.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean? Oh, the door. You mean
when you're in the scooter, they don't give a shit.
Oh, when you're in the scooter.
Now, Tom, you work with people that I don't know. Do they have disabilities or are they just old?
Oh, both.
Both.
Being old is a disability.
Yeah, well, Do you find that, do you work with a number of different people or just the same people all the time?
Same people. I have about four different people I work for on a weekly basis.
What do you call that? What you do?
It's in home care.
Home care. Yeah.
In home care.
Yeah.
So I work on the other side of town, south of UC campus. There's what's called the Clark Kerr campus.
Right. Oh, I've seen that. Isn't that on the hill?
It's right at the foot of the hill.
Yeah.
It's where it's called Redwood Gardens, and it's where the California School for the Deaf and Blind used to be.
Right. I always take that road to get down to Berkeley from 13.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Derby Street.
Yeah.
So I do different things, housework. One woman who's blind, I shop for her.
Mm-hmm.
I did today. So I go to the supermarket. She emails me her list that she wants me to buy. I buy the stuff. I put them on my bicycle, and I ride up the hill and deliver.
You know, I can't help but think of, and you'll probably get pissed off at me. I had a customer that was blind, and he was very concerned over the color of the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I said to the salesperson, I said, just give him black carpet. He won't know the difference.
Well, I don't know who did it, but do you ever see how they used to dress Stevie Wonder?
I thought they used to dress him up pretty nice.
No, actually, for a while there, they were doing the whole dashiki thing, and they didn't get good dashikis. They got terrible dashikis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to know Stevie Wonder in the early years. Mm-hmm. And one night I'm at a party that somebody was holding, and Stevie shows up. And I wait a little while he's been there for a while, and then I sidle up to him and I said, Stevie? He says, yeah. I said, it's Alex Bennett. He goes, oh, Alex, how are you? He says, well, I'd be better, but, you walk in this place and you don't even say hello. You don't even recognize me. It's like I wasn't here. And he got the biggest kick out of that. He loved it. He used to call me up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I was doing my show overnight. I'd say, Alex, Stevie, yeah. Listen, I'm taking the car out for a drive. Would you like to come with me? And he did do that, by the way. Yeah. He would get people to take him to an empty parking lot. And he would get behind the wheel of a car and drive it around the parking lot. Yeah. But anyway.
Why not?
Yeah. Maybe you should take him out to Burning Man.
Yeah, I did ask him a question once. I asked him a question once, and it's one of my. This was not on the air. I said, Stevie. He says, yeah. I said, don't feel that I'm being rude here by asking this question, but when you go to the bathroom and then you wipe your ass, how do you know when you're finished wiping it?
He has a bidet.
Huh?
Does he have a bidet?
No, he actually told me. He said you can tell by the resistance.
The feel.
Yeah, the feel. He says you get used to the resistance of the paper. I always wondered that, how people who were blind knew when they were finished wiping.
You asked somebody else that same question. He said friction.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was that I asked?
I'm trying to remember.
I can't think of many blind people.
Probably Ray Charles.
Well, you had a few people on the show.
It was a regular caller. He used to identify himself as blind.
Yeah. I did. I do remember asking somebody that. That's probably why I'm not serious anymore. That and a couple other reasons.
Bring that up.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. Think nothing of it. They don't. I'm looking to see, boy, all of a sudden the air conditioning is not working well in here. It was working well all day long, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know, maybe it's getting humid.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's, since nobody else is calling and we it's a nice crowd here, but I dare I mention Donald's vacation?
Vacation with Friends.
Yeah.
He got them to pony up $80 billion more in defense. $80 billion.
You know something, Phil? You're completely wrong.
I heard it today on CBSN News.
No, he didn't get them to do anything. They're going to do what they always have done and have always said they were going to do. They were going to get something like 2% of their GDP for defense by 2024.
Well, he said that's no good.
No,
Also,
wait a minute.
He
is an asshole and he's an idiot. And I'm going to tell you why. Somebody mentioned that this today, okay, that he thinks this is a fucking country club where when you don't pay your dues, you're out.
Well,
he said, no, wait a minute, let me finish what I'm saying. That is not what this is all about. You know, they are finding ways of paying the piper for what they're doing. But they're all coming up with the money, and the United States is not on the hook for anything. And he's selling you and his minions and the brain dead human beings that follow him. He's giving them a bunch of bullshit about what this is all about.
Bullshit and try and talk over me, but the thing is,
I can turn you down. I can just make you disappear.
There's only 5 of the 29 that are meeting their obligation, and this
there is no. You got it, Phil. Phil. There is no obligation. Again, you're thinking of it like it's a country club. There is not an obligation. None of them have an obligation. They are trying to come up with ways to help and put into the pot. It is a unified effort. Okay, but it's not. You're playing it like it's a country club, and it's not.
It's not a country club, but if, you got to pay to play if you're going to belong to that organization.
No, that's not the rules. That's not the rules.
Germany can afford it more than.
By the way, did you see?
And they're one of the biggest sinners.
Did you see Pompeo? And did you see Kelly? And did you see our Secretary of Defense? And how they were looking at Donald Trump at this lunch?
Why? Because Donald Trump is doing what should have been done years ago.
He has alienate everybody in existence?
Make them pay. Tom wants to say something. I don't want to keep talking over him.
Okay.
Well, that's a new one.
I think it was best put by someone I heard today that said it's an alliance. It's not a protection racket.
Exactly.
And that's what we're dealing here. His mindset is totally into something that has nothing to do with reality. On top of that, his mansplaining to Angela Merkel. I mean, she just let him have it. Says, "Hey, I grew up under Soviet communism, and you're going to tell me what it's like?"
Now, what he has a problem with is that they're sending euros to Russia because of the pipeline that Russia is putting into Germany for natural gas. And I guess he feels that she should be buying this from allies and not Russia.
What allies?
Norway. Much of their natural gas and oil is coming from Norway.
Well, why is Russia putting a pipeline into Germany?
Well, I mean, it's not that just because they're putting a pipeline that, as Trump says, they're totally owned by Russia. I mean, that's absurd. I mean, basically, I'll just finish this.
Yeah.
I'll just finish my point. And that is that it looks like what Trump is trying to do is really destroy NATO. And all the evidence is pointing out that he's out to break up NATO. And that's what Putin wants. He's doing exactly what Putin wants him to do. And I rest my case.
No, good point. Very good point, Tom.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
You, of course you don't agree.
Because he's in the cult of Trump.
Huh?
The cult of Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
You may not like to hear it, but it's true.
Trump.
Must love Trump. Trump, my man, he good.
Yeah. All right. What else went on today?
Wait a minute. We're not through with this.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I thought you know.
All I'm saying is, it's not, he went into the whole thing all wrong. To begin with, why is he out to alienate our friends and to make friends with dictators? I can't figure that one out to save my soul.
Well, I think it's a bargaining
Oh, really? Do you know something? We are about ready, Phil, and you're going to feel it in your pocketbook, to see the worst disaster when it comes to a trade war you've ever seen. Trump says trade wars are good. Wait till he finds out. Wait till his hat is handed to him.
We're 2 months away from this new big round of tariffs going into effect, and I don't think that the tariffs will ever go into effect. What he wants is everybody to drop their tariffs. If you're going to have a tariff on us, then we'll have a tariff on you.
Yeah, but all it's managed to do is to have them create tariffs on us. I saw people, people. Let me tell you, people it's affecting. I saw some cranberry growers today, who were absolutely livid about what was going on, and they were all Trump people, and they just said, he has ruined our lives here. They said, do you realize that 25% of all of the output of cranberries in the United States goes to China? And now 25% is not going to go to China? They're going to get their cranberries somewhere else?
It'll go somewhere else. They'll sell it to Brazil, and
No, they were saying they don't have anywhere else to sell it.
If they're buying that much,
they were. Well, listen. How dare you sit there and try and make these excuses when these people are trying to wonder how they're going to feed their kids this year?
You're preaching doom and gloom, and it's never going to happen.
I'm not preaching doom and gloom. I'm just simply repeating what these cranberry growers were saying.
Their cranberries haven't been tariffed yet. They haven't lost anything.
No, you don't get what's happening. China is not going to buy American cranberries.
No, but they're going to buy it from Brazil, and Brazil buy it from us.
Oh, Jesus. You live in this dream world that you make up. Prove to me that's going to happen. Tell me how that's going to happen.
It's an example of the kinds of things that will happen to get around the tariffs.
We are going to be in such financial distress, this country, within the next 2 years as a result of all these tariffs. How many here agree with me? See? So you're the asshole in the group.
No, I'm just the only one that knows the truth.
Oh, God. Jeff, what do you think? Jeff joined us.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm in Miami today.
Really?
Yeah, I'm with my friends from Argentina.
Hmm.
And I was going to ask them if they buy
cranberries,
crabs in Argentina or not.
Yeah.
Well, Maria, I can never pronounce her last name the way you do, Bartiromo. She was the one that came up with the theory about how the merchandise would go to a different country, or the commodity would go to a different country and then get traded around. And that was her take on it.
Well, isn't it kind of stupid that it has to go that way? How do we come out making a profit on that?
Well, you're still selling the product. The problem is,
but why don't they just sell direct to China?
Do you think it's fair that China or other countries put tariffs on us, but we're not allowed to put a tariff on them? You don't think that's unfair?
We've always had tariffs on other countries. We've always had tariffs.
China's had on us.
They haven't had as extreme tariffs as these. And these tariffs are more extreme than their tariffs against us.
What Trump wants is free trade. Yep. And he's saying, hey, if you're going to put a tariff on us, we'll put a tariff on you. Or
you know something? You act like Donald Trump knows what the fuck he's doing when it comes to economics. He doesn't know. He doesn't know shit. Yeah, Wharton should take his degree back.
Okay. Now, I think he's doing a great job, and he's finally standing up for America. He's actually looking to make America first, and and these other people. I mean, we're competing with them, and if you just lay over and let them walk all over you, they'll take advantage.
What is this America First bullshit? Who gives it?
Bullshit.
No,
the problem was
no.
we never had that.
No, America First. I didn't know we were second or third. I thought we were just working with the rest of the world to try and exist.
The rest of the world takes advantage of us.
Really? Really? Give me an example of how I have been taken advantage of by the rest of the world.
Well, you don't go outside, so I don't know how you could have been.
I go outside every day now. I go down to the fitness place and I pedal on my bike going nowhere. And I then sometimes do other things, like I went down town today to get ravioli.
Yeah. So you're buying Italian stuff instead of buying American.
They drank the Kool-Aid.
Well, American Italian.
You're muted, Jeff.
Yeah. What? Who's the guy I'm trying to think of that was
Batali.
Mario Batali. Mario Batali. This, I imagine he's still probably a partner in this outfit.
Yeah, didn't he have a problem? And
oh yeah, and they took all his sauces off the shelves in the store he owns.
Yeah.
Replace them with Lydia Bastianich.
Somebody else just got accused of the Me Too thing yesterday. Who was it? It was somebody that you wouldn't think would be accused, and he totally denied it. Do you remember?
No. That's getting to be old stories now. Whenever it's one of those things come up, you go, oh, okay. The first ones out were the ones that got hurt the most by it, and the rest are getting to skate. I mean, I remember there was this whole thing about Ryan Seacrest, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of disappeared fast. The more recent ones have a tendency to disappear. But did you hear this story? This is a wonderful story. You guys are going to love this story. Maybe Phil isn't, but you will. Did you hear about Sarah Palin?
Yes.
Yes, getting.
Well, don't let me tell the story to the audience. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah.
She revealed today she was duped into doing an interview for the new Sacha Baron Cohen Showtime series, Who is America? Palin said that Cohen pretended to be a wounded veteran in a wheelchair for the interview and says she was duped into the sit-down. The UK publication The Daily Mail reports, adding, after she walked out of the interview, Palin said the network purposely dropped her off at the wrong airport, knowing that she couldn't get a flight. The incident reportedly took place in November. Now Palin wants Showtime and its parent company CBS, along with Cohen, to donate profits to a veterans group. Palin is quoted saying, "This legit opportunity to honor American vets and contribute to the legit Showtime historical documentary was requested of me via a speakers bureau," she adds. "For my interview, my daughter and I were asked to travel across the country where Cohen, I presume, had heavily disguised himself as a disabled U.S. veteran in a fake wheelchair and all. I don't think it would be a fake wheelchair. I think it's either a wheelchair or it isn't a wheelchair."
Right.
Out of respect for what I led to believe would be a thoughtful discussion with someone who had served in uniform, I sat through a long interview full of Hollywoodisms, disrespect, and sarcasm, but finally had enough and literally physically removed my mic and walked out, much to Cohen's chagrin. He probably loved every single fucking minute of it. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't have been happy if that didn't happen. Palin reportedly was with her teenage daughter Piper, who may have missed school because of the airport incident. She also informed Cohen that Piper thinks he's a piece of shit. So, that's Sarah Palin's adventures with Sacha Baron Cohen.
Other people have been duped by him.
Oh, I remember.
He was playing that Ali G. He had duped some pretty famous people. I can't remember exactly.
No, he did Borat and he did Ali G. And when he did the best thing he ever did with Borat, for my money, was he went into a country bar down in the South, down in the deep South, And they say we have a new country artist, and he's from wherever the country he was from. And he gets up and he goes, "Here's his song. It's very popular in my country now." And he starts singing, "Throw the Jew down the well, so we all can be free." And he gets the crowd to sing with him, "Throw the Jew down the well."
And he's Jewish.
Yeah. So my country will be free. Not just Jewish, he's Orthodox Jew.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny stuff. I mean, gutsy stuff.
Yeah.
In that first movie he did, it just, the lengths he will go to in order to be funny is amazing. His commitment to it. Mm-hmm. So here, you've got Sarah Palin, who probably, some people would just go, "I've been duped, ha ha ha." But no, these people take themselves too fucking seriously. And that's why they get duped.
Mm-hmm.
So
perfect target.
I was happy to see that happen to Sarah Palin.
Well, I hope you do donate the money to a veterans organization.
Why would I? I'm a veteran. I donate it to myself.
Well, I don't think Sasha Cohn is a veteran.
Huh?
We
don't know.
They interviewed her under false pretenses. I mean, yes, she was duped. Yes, if you have a sense of humor. But you know what?
Listen, you go to Fox, you're being interviewed under false pretenses. They pretend to be a news organization.
Yeah. Fake news.
Yes, Fox is fake news.
Oh, no.
Oh, I got you. You can't go. No backsies. No backsies.
This Sacha Baron Cohen thing, it's not Fox. It was something else that
it's
he's
Showtime.
Doing. Okay. For a special, right?
Which is CBS.
Yeah, and that's not Fox. So it's just more CBS fake news. It goes in there with a bunch of news people and under false pretenses.
Phil, what am I going to do about you? I like you, Phil, but I hate you. I just hate you. I find you utterly, irretrievably disgusting.
I tell you what. Why don't everybody here just nod their head and say, "Alex, you're so right. Everything you say, dittos, Alex. Mega dittos, if that's one you could use. It might be copyrighted. No, isn't it better to have somebody to argue with, even if I have a heart condition?
Oh, are you pulling that one?
Hey, it's the Jew card.
Hey, listen, so I'll pull mine. Oh my God, I'm a veteran. The horrors of my service where were you, Alex? Well, I served my country in Hollywood.
Well, that's hard.
Well, no, you never heard of enemy planes getting past Santa Monica Boulevard, did you? I did my job.
I think that they had submarines and other incursions from the Japanese getting onto the West Coast during your stay.
Who knows? Anyway,
but World War II, and you were there in Vietnam, so
I was.
Say something, but
I'm technically a Vietnam vet. I mean, I don't say this. I say this jokingly because if I don't want to say it seriously, because there are people who served there and came back traumatic. Yeah. I was in Hollywood at the Armed Forces Radio and Television Service, and the Vietnam War broke out while I was in service. So therefore, I am technically a Vietnam vet.
And you went there?
No. I went to well, my voice was heard there.
All right. So you didn't get what is it in the Navy they give you when you have all of those
battle ribbons?
Colored, yeah.
It's called pretty little ribbons on your chest.
Yeah. Did you get one?
No, I didn't get one of those. No.
Oh, okay.
I had guys who I was mustered out with who got some for being in the Gulf of Tonkin during the Gulf of Tonkin incident, in which they informed me that nothing went on out there, but they came back and they gave them all these fucking ribbons.
I was in the Gulf of Mexico. Does that count?
Yeah, well, you didn't even serve, you pussy.
No. I was scuba diving. Tom wanted to say something.
Yes, Tom.
Doesn't matter anymore.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter
Bring
anymore.
some sense to all of this.
No, there's no sense. No, I was going to say, yeah, you could say you were a Vietnam era veteran, even though you weren't in Vietnam.
Oh, right, right.
You were a veteran from that.
Well,
Vietnam era.
I don't like to say any of it, to be honest with you, except as a joke, because there are people who served over there and came back. If they lived, if they survived, they came back mentally distressed for the rest of their lives with a mark on them that they'll never be able to wash off. And so I don't want to say that that I served my country. No, I was forced to serve my country. It was either go into the Navy or the Army was going to draft me.
But
So
you're okay with Sacha Baron Cohen ripping off veterans,
absolutely, as one veteran to a fake veteran, I'm very happy he did what he did. Hey, look, you have people like Donald Trump who keep saying how much we honor the service of the, and he talks about the troops and the blah, blah, blah. This is a guy who used a bone spur to keep himself out of the military.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, a lot of people did that.
Well, yeah, but you don't then turn around and act like you're some kind of really, with a guy about people serving and thank you for your service.
Well, not necessarily, because he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and he's there, and he needs to support the people that fight.
Do you know how laughable that is that he's the commander of the armed forces?
Well, he was duly elected, and
I think we should take that away from every president, is being the commander of the armed forces. He should maybe appoint the commander of the armed forces, but he shouldn't be the commander of the armed forces, because what does Donald Trump know about war and about military, and all of that? It was at a military academy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Tom.
No, the point is, it's a good idea to have the president be the what's called the commander-in-chief. The military is therefore under civilian rule instead of under military rule.
Well, couldn't we do that in some other way?
It's sort of like a check and balance on the power of the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, see?
Somebody says, Renee Collins says, down, Alex. We listen. You. Let Kevin speak. What about Kevin's heel?
Well,
he's not a heel. He's a nice guy.
Well, that's from Renee. She wants to know about your heel.
That was a long time ago.
See?
I think that was back in the waiting room day.
That was back in the waiting room day?
Or back in the waiting room time of the show.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. But, didn't you say you were going to have some, rods are put in there and some stuff? Whatever.
Yeah, but that's why I got my thing on there.
By the way, Jeff, doesn't Phil look healthier than he looked before the stent? Oh, turn on your.
You're muted.
Wait a minute.
Muted. Sorry.
Yeah,
how's that?
There you go. Yeah.
Phil, I'm so happy that your little valves and vessels are pumping.
Well, he's got to go back in for another.
I got one more to go, but
yeah, me too.
But you know what? I can see it in your face.
Thanks. I feel it in all my joints. I thought I was getting a terrible case of arthritis throughout my entire body. Every joint hurt. And after they put in the one stent, all that went away. I started looking at, maybe I got rheumatoid.
Well, imagine what happens when they roto-rooter the rest of you.
Oh, God, don't get near me. I'll be a machine.
When are they going to put some good stuff in your brain?
Yeah, that's what we're wondering.
Yeah. Well, I got the Republican stuff.
Yeah. There is a special place where they drill in there and pump out.
Let me ask Tom a question. I know that Tom, you for a long time were bothered by Phil. I think that goes without saying.
No, I'm just mostly bored by him.
Oh, okay. But it seems
his opinions become so predictable.
Yeah.
That I just sort of tuned out after a while.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't think it really. A lot of times, I don't think it really enlivens the discussion at all.
No, you got to push the button. That's how you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So where are you going with this?
No, well,
Alex?
I was going to say is, but it seems like you've gotten used to him.
Well, I accept it. I mean, I think that Ben Franklin was actually wrong. There are three things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and filth.
Yeah.
My personal theory on this program, I think people should limit themselves to no more than twice a week.
Really? Then I'd be sitting here with one person a night.
Well, you never know. You never know how many people might be getting on, but they think that the oxygen is sucked out of the room by a few people that are dominating discussion.
Well, I mean, like right now, if I did that, everybody except you would have. Well, no, two of the people here would have had their 2 nights already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the 2 people I really, I like talking to them.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I would like to think that, that maybe you're right. Maybe if we did that, it would encourage more people to call. Maybe we could try that for a week and see how that works.
Well, try it on Friday. I've got my underwater photography thing. It'll be a Phil-free Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it on Friday. That's the one night we allow everybody, no matter how many times they've been on during the week, to be on the show. So,
And I'll be riding my bike across Marin County, so I won't be here Friday night.
Oh, okay. So I'll probably be alone, and you never know. Some nights, some nights we fill right up. What night did we when I had Walter Sabo on, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Or Walter, I'll call him because he uses another name. Sterling calls him. I can't remember the name he uses now. Anyway,
Jack Bishop.
Jack Bishop. He was on and we did like 50 minutes, and after that was over, the phones lit up. They just absolutely lit up.
Interesting. That was an extremely interesting interview, and it did create some stimulus, and you probably got some people that normally don't call. For instance, my friend Stoney Jackson called once, and then I asked him why he didn't call anymore, and he said, "Well, I really wanted to talk about music," and I said, "Well, then why didn't you talk about it?" And he just felt it wasn't going that way. I guess that's, I don't know why he wanted to talk about music.
People should not think that, oh, hey, we're having this discussion tonight and that's what the topic is. I don't think there's ever a topic on this show. And I think if you look at some shows for the 2 hours, the number of different subject matter that we hit within those 2 hours is completely wide range. And if he wanted to call up and talk about music, hey, we're now talking about music.
Yeah, that's what I told him.
Yeah.
But for one reason or another, I talk to him all the time, so I didn't, but I had asked him why he doesn't call, and because he was really enthusiastic about calling when he first called, and he said, "No, I really want to talk about music. I'm not that interested in politics."
Well, then he should have started. It would have been. We would have loved it.
Yeah, and he's an interesting guy. Matter of fact, he's also a videographer. I sent you that video that he did with that Greg, the Greek, the comedian. It was they went into a pizza shop in Queens, and they had some hipster. It was the hipster trying to buy pizza in Queens. Very, very, very funny. Greg the Greek, and there's another comedian. He was in the Bronx Tale, Joe Onofrio. I guess they work a lot together. And they're friends of Stoney.
Well, now you're boring me. But anyway,
but you could have watched the video.
I don't think I did.
I'll send it again.
No, don't.
All right, it's extremely funny.
Well, you sent me a lot of stuff, and I, to tell you the truth, I've watched some of it, and it's not very good.
Well,
because you had a tendency to send me a lot of stuff.
Well, I'm not a Tony.
Oh, wait a minute! Here comes Bree again. I wonder what traffic he's in now. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Add to call. There we go. Let's see. Did he come in? No. I added him to the call. Oh, there he is.
There he comes.
Hello, Bree. Can you hear us, Bree? Bree? Can you hear us, Bree? Well, we have his picture. That's nice.
You did?
Yeah, but
I just see a circle.
Circle with a B.
With a BR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm probably not connected on Skype, and that's why I don't see the picture.
You're not connected on Skype? What do you mean?
With Bree.
With Bree. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I don't have him as a contact. And I think in order to see the actual photo, you might have to have him as a contact.
Bree, are you there?
I'm here.
There. Where are you now? Are you in? Are you in?
Let me put my headset in. My volume is so darn low. Oh. You know, Alex, it's really a pain because when I log in from here, Skype is like, "Oh, we've detected craziness. Enter all your passwords in 20 times." You know?
Yeah. Well, outside you had some kind of horrible noise of traffic or whatever, and we could barely hear you.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Manila.
Yeah, your audio levels are perfect now.
Okay, great.
Well, perfect by what standard? I guess by Skype standards.
That's the only one that counts.
I see. Okay. Because you have that big board there. That today I was thinking, you're going to send me that board you said, and I'm thinking about where the fuck will I put that thing?
Put it in the other one.
I might be able to fit it in the other one, but it's huge.
That's not that big. It's maybe 16, 18 inches square.
I think it's, if you check it out, it's 24 inches by 24 inches.
Nah, you've been telling your wife this is 6 inches for so long. You got no connection with reality.
But that is 6 inches.
I'll find something.
There we go. There's Bree in Manila, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, the thriller.
Yeah.
See, this is what we love about Skype is that we get people sometimes from different places, and I was talking to Durst yesterday about the fact that when I was a kid there was a TV show. It was a big TV show, and they first put in the coaxial cable across the United States, and it was the first show where they had a camera in New York and a camera at the Golden Gate Bridge, and then they spanned both coasts in split screen. Blurry, but split screen, and I was in awe of that. Imagine, we can now see both coasts at the same time. What will be next? Well, it's a guy in his bedroom there in Manila, walking around showing us photos or what is that? Is this a hotel room, Bree?
Airbnb.
Airbnb. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see here. And I guess that's all the stuff that the people who live there have, like the stuff hanging on the refrigerator.
They still got some stuff there.
Yeah.
And then, but I'll tell you, Alex, I've stayed in New York, so I'm used to, cockroaches to a certain degree. But when I first came in here, there were just a ton of them.
Yeah.
And, and so I got some I got some natural sprays. And then I just started killing them. And after a day, I don't see any.
The best thing to kill cockroaches? Living in New York back when I first moved here, you became an expert on killing cockroaches. And there was a thing, I can't remember the name of it, but it had a skull and crossbones on it, and it was for killing roaches.
And I got something for the store to kill roaches, and it's not poisonous. It's a powder.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Now, in this case, I'll bet you it wasn't a problem. No, it wasn't a problem physically because it had a natural ingredient that killed roaches called pyrethrin.
That's it.
Yeah. Do you have look at the ingredients there.
It's Messy Bessie.
Yeah, but look at the ingredients, Bree. And does it say anywhere like pyrethrin?
Here we go.
Let's see here. Oh, there.
It's not such a terrible ingredient. I don't think it will hurt you.
Purified something. Alcohol.
Sugar cane alcohol.
You just get them drunk and they'll kill a fruit.
Is it all natural?
Or oil.
But anyway, what happened was.
Yep, that's all.
Tea tree oil?
I went into the kitchen one day, and that's where the roaches like to hang out. It was like their tango palace, and they
the kitchen.
It loved to hang out in the kitchen.
Show you some
and
right
I
now,
took a box of cereal that I hadn't used in about a couple of weeks, and put it down, and I saw a roach come climbing out of it. So I figured, well, maybe there's some roaches in there. So I took the pyrethrin, right, the spray, and I sprayed it into the box of cereal.
Bad idea.
This box of cereal started to move and bounce across the counter. And the roaches were coming out just over the sides of this thing. It was amazing. But I killed them all. I felt like the Eichmann of roaches.
Yes. That's exact, Alex. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, you love killing roaches. Nothing better than seeing a roach die slowly.
It's a new Kellogg cereal called Captain Roach.
Captain Roach. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, I remember your story. I think that the product you were talking about was called La Bamba.
La Bamba, yes. And I figured
the way you told the story was you're trying to figure out who would know how to kill roaches, and he says obviously the Puerto Ricans. And so you went to a Puerto Rican store and said, "What do you got that kills roaches?" And they sold you this stuff called La Bamba.
La Bamba. It was called La Bamba, and I kept buying. I had like cans of La Bamba around the house. And it really did. I mean, it killed those roaches. It was amazing. But the thing was, white people don't like to use La Bamba, and I'll tell you why. Because with Raid, you kill them or you put it somewhere, and they go somewhere off and they die. With La Bamba, you just set it off like in the kitchen, and then you leave. And when you come back, all the roaches are all over the place, dying and spinning on their backs and having little X's on their eyes. You know.
I spray every 3 months at the store, and after we spray with that pyrethrin that you mix with water and you put it in a spray thing, it's like the next morning it's a roach holocaust.
Yes,
they're everywhere.
Yeah. And it made me feel
on their back, half dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this called?
Well, that was called La Bamba.
I'm not going to get that.
And I don't know if they have it there. I can probably find it here in New York, but it was it really they were dying just agonizingly, very slowly, spinning around, and all that. And I was just loving every moment of die, you little bastards,
Brings out the Democrat in you. Hey, 16 and a half wide, 17 deep.
17 deep?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not bad. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me see here. What is 16? 16 in length, you say?
It's 16 in width.
Width? And how about in length?
17.
17 in length. Okay. Actually, I could maybe fit it here. If I just move the screen back a little bit.
So you play with it.
I might be able to. Well, I'm not going to throw it away.
We give it away,
But yeah. So but I love La Bamba. That was my and it was all the instructions were in Spanish, so I just figure all it says is spray, And but we had a bad roach infestation, because what happens is we've seen one roach in this apartment in the whole time we've been here, and somebody comes in every 3 months and sprays. Okay.
They go next door.
Well, the thing is, though, a lot of times in the old days in New York, if somebody moved out downstairs, they moved upstairs. You got an invasion because they left.
This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Alex, what's funny is
Yeah.
When I came in here, there were just so many, like all over. And
wait a minute, you're paying for this? Wait a minute, you're paying for this as a B&B?
How much is this
Airbnb?
B&B. Bree? How much is this B&B?
This one is about like $35 US, but it's very big. It's very nice. It's definitely a nice place.
And the B&B stands for Bugs and Bugs.
How much do they charge you for the pets?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I told them, and they're giving me one night for free. So they refunded money since I had to buy the roach spray. But the thing is I told them, it's like, look, it's a city area, it's Manila. Of course you're going to have some pests. Of course you will. I mean, it's like being in New York City or Pittsburgh. But I told her, I said, they have the upper hand here because no one has stayed here for a couple of weeks. So when I came in and I started killing them, what was funny was in the apartments on the side at night, I could hear kids screaming and then boom, boom, boom. So like they left here and they're going into the other apartments now. I think this was their hideout. And now they're going in and I can hear the screams and the boom, boom, booms in the other areas.
Now, Jeff, you're in Miami. Now, Miami has some of the biggest bugs in the world.
Well, they have the palmetto.
Yeah, the palmetto bug.
And the palmetto bugs. No, the palmetto bugs are roaches with wings that fly.
Yeah.
And they're big.
And they're big. I was sitting in a movie theater in Miami once, and all of a sudden I saw one on the floor, and I went, what the fuck is that? You know? So I put a saddle on him. I rode him out of the theater. You know, I mean, they are. Am I right with the palmettos? Is that what they're called?
They're big. Yeah. I thought they palmettos were moving the sofa around in my apartment when I lived in Miami. You know, I come home, the sofa's 6 inches over.
Yeah. So, yeah. But that's really, really bad. I mean, hell, you would hope that if you got a place for a vacation, they would make sure that if there were roaches in the place, that they weren't there when you got there.
You really can't.
Roaches there, I'm gone.
Huh? You really can't do anything about it. You know, you spray. It's a temporary thing. They just keep coming.
Well, no. For instance, this is a very old apartment house. Okay, and I'm sure if they didn't do whatever they do, that there would be mice and rats and bugs and everything here. And I saw one mouse in the whole time that we've been here, and one roach in the whole time we've been here. And that's like 8 years we've been here. You know.
Yeah. Well, you're on the 8th floor. It's tough for them to come up the stairs, and they can't reach the button.
I'm on the 7th
elevator.
Well, I told you the time a squirrel wound up in here.
Yeah.
He had climbed they can climb buildings.
Yeah.
Death-defying. And I'm sitting there in the kitchen, and I'm looking in the dining room, and there's a fucking squirrel staring at me.
You don't have a lot of light, Bree. You can't see the labels.
And this guy,
it's funny. I've got light. It's daylight here.
And
strange.
He was also brazen, because I went, get out of here, and I ran over to him, and he just stood there and looked at me like, what the fuck are you thinking? And then finally he went to the window, and he kind of looked back, gave me the little squirrel finger, and then jumped out, and I figured maybe he committed suicide. 2 days later, there's a news story on the news, on the local news. The CVS on the street corner down here had a squirrel running loose in it, and I went, that's him. It's the same one, because he's brazen, you know. So
he was blaming Boris and Natasha.
Yes, right. How come you don't? Yeah, now we can see you. Now there's light.
Yeah, it's weird. I think the daylight was coming in and somehow messing with the camera. I got to go right to the daylight.
Yeah. So how many pounds do you think I'm going to gain from all the ravioli I ate today? I decided to finally treat myself. I guess what happened? Well, here's what I can't figure out. Does that mean that I ate let's say I ate 800 carbohydrates? Let's be ridiculous here. for a moment. When midnight comes, does all that dissipate? I mean, is it? And if tomorrow I'm back on the diet, it doesn't count. It's only the one day.
It depends if you sleep on your back or your side. You know, if you sleep on your side, it'll dissipate to the side. You know, if you sleep on
I see. Back. Okay. No, I just wonder if there's an expiration date on diets. Like if you only can do so many calories a day, and let's say you do 800 calories and you can only do 500. Does it expire at midnight?
You know, it depends on your metabolism. For instance, when I have something with sugar in it.
Hold on a second. What are you holding up there, Bree?
A gum tree or something.
What is
that?
Oh,
that's for when I get bit by the mosquitoes.
Boy, this is a wonderful vacation you're on.
Virgin coconut cake.
No, it's good. It's good. I mean, you just got to take the precautions. I mean, you go to the beach, you take sunscreen. You come to Manila, you have mosquito spray, roach spray, and tea tree cream.
And penicillin. Yes, Phil, you wanted to finish what you were saying.
When I eat something as a diabetic, if it's got too many carbs, what will happen is it'll take, I can measure my blood, and it'll take sometimes a day for me to get back to a normal level. So it really depends on your metabolism and what you're dealing with. I mean, Kevin has diabetes, right? And but you control it with insulin, right?
Who, me? No.
Oh, I thought you did.
No. See, I don't see wild spikes. I don't see any changes at all when I take my. That's just weird. I don't know that I have true diabetes.
Well, maybe you
I don't think I. True.
Maybe you have fake diabetes.
Well, because they've always argued about it between my antibiotic toxicity and my diabetes. They've never really figured it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have diabetes. That's the one thing I found out about. You know, because everybody said every time I told them I had numb feet, they went, "Oh, it's got to be diabetes." And no, I'm not.
Yeah, well, they said to me too, but they figured it might have been the antibiotics that I was taking forever too.
What is all that stuff you're showing us here?
I'm showing you all the stuff I like.
Oh, what's that crawling around inside there?
There's a Goldilocks in Concord, and I go there and I buy Filipino food. You know, so these are the kinds of things. Thai style milk tea.
Well, your fiance Phil, the long-term fiance.
Right.
She's from the Philippines, right?
Yes, she came to the when she was 16.
And Rob's wife is from the Philippines.
Yes,
as well.
She is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Papa.
I wish I could say Marjorie was from the Philippines, but she's not. So yeah. Hey, listen, we've run out of time. It's just been a nice little gathering here. We haven't gotten into too much political chazarai, as my people say.
The Supreme Court is being packed as we speak.
It's being packed, yes. yes, much like a anal hooker. Anyway, yes, Phil, thank you so much for being here this evening, and thanks to Bree for calling us from Manila, and say hello to the Roaches for us, and Jeff down in Miami, thank you. Tom, you're a godsend. Anytime I go, help, I need somebody, I notice you sign on, and there you are, and I really appreciate it, Tom. You've been a good friend over the years. And Kevin, what can I say? But who can hate a guy that looks like Santa Claus? Anyway, that's it for tonight, everybody. I think you should give a big wave goodbye. Look, San Miguel flavored beer. Give a big wave goodbye, and we'll see you all hopefully tomorrow. Bye. All right, that's it for our citizen panel for tonight. Let me just hang up rudely on them now so that Jack Bishop, who does the next show called The Intersection, will be here and can use those lines. And then at 1 o'clock this morning, it's Connections. Tomorrow night at 9:30, it's Damian Chaplin and a little program he likes to call The Exchange. At 10 o'clock. I'll be back again. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.